Do you want rice with your tacos?
Do you want beef rice?
I'm asking you if you want rice.
No, that's okay.
Be so for real right now.
I don't mind rice, but if you haven't made it and you don't want it, don't bother making it.
You're so passive.
Passive?
You never answer a question, yeah or no. Do you want rice? Yes or no?
The question you're asking me is also for you.
He said
No,
no.
it's not. Do you want rice?
No.
Yes or no?
No.
No, you don't want rice.
No, I don't want rice.
Okay, well, thank you so much for finally answering the fucking question. We're getting divorced.
She does not want you to answer. She wants you to suffer. She wants you punished. She's faking her confusion. She's lying. It's all an act. And this performance is not about rice. It's about power. She knows exactly what she's doing, and so do the millions of women out there just like her. If you've been paying attention, you will have seen that this pattern is repeating itself from women to men across the culture. There is an agenda here that is unfolding. It's not a coincidence. Everything is a man's fault. Men are blamed for everything.
It is the actions of most men. Most men. There are very few that do not act this way. There are so many of them. They are everywhere, and comments like that just keep them in that cycle of never learning from their behavior, and it's the majority of them. That's why so many women are killed at the hands of men. Like, we're not making this up. It's this stupid gaslighting thing that men are so good at doing. How about you take that energy and mansplain to other men how to be better men?
These women, they don't want equality. They want an enemy. And that enemy is you. Not some men, not bad men, you. Blaming men is now the default setting, and modern women don't even bother to hide it. Their hatred is open, proud. They told you that they're fighting for equality, addressing historical injustices that were committed against women. They lied. This is not about progress or fairness or balance. This is the era of female revenge. The goal is not equality, it is suffering. They want men to hurt. Not all women, of course. You ladies who are kind and respectful to men, who love masculinity, please know I'm never talking about you. I'm trying to help men understand female behavior that has previously never made sense. I'm explaining the true agenda that's playing out here and the psychological underpinnings that fuel it. Because men, the world is going to make a lot more sense to you when you finally wake up to the fact that all of women's hatred, the shame, the rage, it was never about justice, it's about pain. Those women want revenge. They don't want you to be better. They're not cheering for your improvement and celebrating each new milestone. They want to hurt you. They want you to be broken.
All these men deserve like a first-class ticket to hell.
Yes.
They need to burn, baby, burn.
Recently, somebody commented on one of my videos that you can't build a life with someone that hates you on a subconscious level. 100% correct. But then the question arises, why do women hate men so much? Where did this come from? Women say that they have suffered, that history was cruel to them, that they have been oppressed. They couldn't vote, they couldn't own property, they were abused by their husbands. And of course, men never suffered. But let's take their argument at face value and say that historically they have been disadvantaged, that this is about justice, it's about righting wrongs, fairness. Okay. But then answer me this. If that's true, if that's the real motivation, then why is it that modern women are angrier than ever? They wanted protections in divorce. They got them. Custody laws? They overwhelmingly side with mothers. They wanted property rights, access to the workforce, the vote, political power, less domestic violence, more emotional support, more help around the house, more involved fathers. Done. All of it. Done. Every demand has been met. Every grievance has been addressed. But still, no apology ever seems to be enough. Curious, isn't it? The more men have tried to fix things, the angrier women have become. It makes no sense until you understand the truth, that this was never about equality. This wasn't about moving forward or cooperation. The purpose was revenge. They don't want balance. They want men to suffer.
Dude!
Women everywhere are saying, you don't get peace without my permission. Kevin Hart did that really funny comedy bit about how much women hate you having fun when you're with your friends, your male friends. How dare you be enjoying yourself when you're away from me? When you get home, you are going to be punished. Now ask yourself something. Why is it that the gender that prides itself on being nurturing and compassionate so indifferent to male suffering? Why do women who brand themselves as empathetic, emotionally intelligent, caring, why do they have no idea what it's like to be a man? Why can't they name a single male issue? Why, when you're in the company of women, does talking about male pain get met with hostility instead of empathy? For those women, the harsh truth is that they are not bothered by male suffering, they are entertained by it. They celebrate it because this is what they wanted. You should also ask the question, why are they so obsessed with making men soft, emotional, and feminine? Even when women pretend to care about men's mental health, it's almost always a barely disguised agenda to strip you of your masculinity. I'm a frequent visitor to the therapist subreddit. I like to chat with mental health professionals. It's good for my work with the Hero Circle, the men's discussion groups that I run. But the community is viciously anti-male. The other day on this thread, I read this comment. The feminization of men would be a good thing, actually. Even the APA has come out swinging, noting that toxic and traditional masculinity have caused countless harm, not only to women and trans people, but especially to men themselves. If you're in the mental health space and claiming to advocate for men's mental health, or you are in favor of traditional or toxic masculinity, you are literally the problem you are claiming to solve. End of discussion. And it's hugely upvoted. Masculinity is apparently the problem. They don't want you to be better, they want you to be compliant. But this isn't healing, this is psychological castration. The agenda here isn't to empower men and strengthen them, no, it's to feminize them. And the disgusting irony is that this doesn't even help women. They have contempt for feminine men, they dismiss them as weak, while continuing to flock to the men who actually display masculinity. They are separating men from their masculinity on purpose. Not to help them, but to harm them. To make you reject who you are. To make you confused, ashamed, weak. To turn you into a man who has no fight left in him. Because a strong man, a man who knows who he is, he's a threat because he can resist, he can lead. He can look her into the eye and say no. That's what they fear, that's what they hate. And that's why with this brand of modern woman, the conversations they have about men's mental health is not about helping men heal. It's about making sure that you're not strong enough to ever stand up again. You've seen it. Do the work. Unlearn your privilege. Sit with what's uncomfortable. This is what they're pushing. If they really cared about men's mental health, they would use language that strengthens and empowers men. But they don't, because that's not the goal. They don't want you to grow. They want you to submit. That is not compassion. That is punishment. All celebrated in the era of revenge. If the feminist movement was ever about equality, then tell me this. Why is it that male failure is celebrated? If equality means equal outcomes, men and women performing at the same level, then why is it that every drop in male performance is met with applause? Women are now the majority of new hires. They're graduating at higher rates than men. They're dominating education, healthcare, psychology, and every time the numbers come out that show that men are failing and struggling, it's framed as progress, victory even. As though women are conquering an enemy. How sick and twisted is that mindset? But many modern women are shameless. They loudly and publicly cheer, saying this is about balancing the scales and correcting past injustices, as though the men of the past weren't worked to death and sent to war, pushed to destroy themselves to build the modern world, with all of the comforts that it now offers. If you listen to modern women, you'd think that historical suffering was exclusively a woman's issue. They love that narrative because it's so much more convenient than the truth. Modern women don't want to hear that everybody suffered. Both genders struggled in different ways in the past. No, they want to twist history to justify their hatred. They exaggerate their past suffering to rationalize the abuse of men today. Men had power for centuries, now it's time for them to shut up. That's the logic. Collective guilt, permanent punishment. I mean, the world, it's gone insane. Modern women are punishing men for wounds that they never felt, caused by men who no longer exist, and they have the nerve to call this progress. I'm sorry, who decided that guilt was inherited, and that justice means punishment by proxy? You don't fix an injustice by creating a new one. But remember, justice was never the goal. We do not live in an era of justice. We live in an era of revenge. And once you understand that, the hostility, the hypocrisy, the rage, it all begins to make sense. They don't want equality, they want payback. I am not optimistic about change being possible because modern women are like drug addicts. Their identity depends on getting the next fix. So I would like to coin a new phrase here, addictimhood. This is the condition that modern women have. They are addicted to their victimhood. What I recommend is a thorough detox. They need to create a new identity. I'm going to spend the rest of the video explaining this, how women got themselves into this mess, why it self-perpetuates, how women can get out of it, and what men can do to speed the process along. If you've enjoyed this video but you want to see it go deeper, move a little bit out of the theory and into the practical, you're going to love the rest of the video, which is available on Patreon.